welcome to Blackfeather Guild. Before we go in and say hi to the cast and get started with the show, I wanted to talk very briefly about viewer actions and a little bit about sponsors. So first off, there's a number of ways that you can actually actively participate in the show through viewer actions. One of the easiest ways to do so is through retweeting the game tweet. You should see that somewhere in chat if it's not in there already. But you just click on that link and hit retweet, and for every 5 retweets that we get on that, it will add a bonus to the cast pool and the game master pool. Now, in most cases, that's going to be an extra d6 that they can add on to any roll. Basically, a great way to use that is if a player is almost meeting a DC, but they're just not quite there, they can grab one of those d6s from the cast pool, roll that, and then add that to their roll. Basically, is how that works. Same with the GM. So that's one of the easiest ways that you can participate that way. Another way is through guild coins. That's our Twitch channel points. If you look at the rainbow colored icon, it should have the Blackfeather Guild crest on it. It should be right below your Twitch chat box. If you click on that, it'll show you all the different things that you can get with those. The biggest one being plot points. Now, plot points, you can see an example right over here. They all work pretty much the same way. It's just a matter of how big of an impact they have. So for the example, and we've got 2 plot points, the player of your choice gets something moderately helpful or unhelpful. Enter any suggestions for the GM into chat, or you can have the GM come up with something entirely on their own. So just choose if you want it to be helpful or unhelpful to the party, and that's kind of how you can use them. You can throw in your own suggestions as well. How those work: 1 plot point is something trivially helpful or unhelpful. 2 is moderately, 3 is very, and 4 is very to the entire party. So if you want to do something to help the entire party or really throw a monkey wrench in their plans, 4 plot points will do that. So that's guild coins. And then finally, we've got donations. So if you want to help out with keeping the lights on in the place, so to speak, there's a number of ways that you can financially contribute. One of those being coffee.com/Raven or raven.rocks. You can see both of those examples down there at the bottom. Those are the addresses to do direct donations. You can also do Twitch subscriptions or bits. Those work the same way. And then finally, Patreon. We've got a Patreon, which you should see in chat here any second, if it's not there already. And our Bard tier patrons and higher get credits towards viewer actions every month that they can use on any show that they would like. You just have to let us know in chat how you want to spend those, and then we'll hand those out. So some very cool stuff. Before we hop over to see the cast, one last thing to mention is a couple things on this chart here. We've already covered the D6 and the plot points, but the triple crits, what that means is you can gift auto critical successes. And you can, it's triple because you get 3. You can divvy those out however you'd like. You can do 2 to the cast, 1 to the game master, all of them to the game master, however you want to do it. So they work much like the D6s. The cast members just grab that when they're available and they really need them and use them. So it's pretty cool. And then finally, the last one, introduce an ally or enemy NPC. Just give us a brief description of what you want this character to look like, kind of their character concept and a name, and let us know if you want it to be an enemy or an ally to the party, and the GM will basically take that and run with it. So really cool ways that you can participate. Lastly, I just wanted to take a quick moment to mention our sponsors. If you look at the logos down below, that's who's sponsoring this episode, and we'll talk a little bit about that before we introduce everybody as well on the next scene. So yeah, check all this stuff out, and thank them for supporting us, and thank you for being here and watching. Let's go say hi to the cast. Hey, welcome back, everybody. We are back for, I believe this is episode 6 of Hunters of Calamity 2. Last week was pretty exciting. We had a lot of combat, fighting off a whole pack of dire dogs, um, and discovering a spooky cave with this black crystal substance that seems to work with magic. Um, we'll call it black lyridium for the time being, though we're not sure if it actually is lyridium or not. For the sake of ease, we're going to call it black lyridium for now. And Wesley got to use some of that firsthand and found out that it certainly has a corrupting effect to it. There was also a big explosion as we're still unsure who hit the button. I mean, the players know who hit the button, but the characters are unsure who it was. Hit the self-destruct button, and the flying airship car thing that they had built previously crashed into the cave, collapsing the entrance. It was an ordeal. But everybody survived, except for Sassy Ted, who died in the crash. But everybody else survived, and they discovered a sort of doorway with a hall going down into the mountain inside the cave. So where Jebediah had crashed the Jeep into the wall, it broke a bunch of crystals away, which exposed this doorway when they moved the Jeep away. So that's kind of where we're at. So before we jump into all that action, though, I'm going to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about who they are and their character. Normally we would start at the top left with Zan playing Jebediah. Zan is currently in the process of moving, and unfortunately is not with us here tonight. But definitely check out Zan's stuff at InsanityTTRPG on Twitter. He's just fantastic, a lot of fun, and plays Jebediah, who is sort of a intern with the Church of the Sleeveless Way, which is the group that Wesley is now in charge of. Think like psychos from Borderlands coupled with weird cult stuff. That's roughly where that's at. A lot of alcohol involved. Next we have Nikki, who plays MJ. She will be joining us later, but also a very cool person, plays a really fun character who has the compulsive liar challenge, so lies a lot, but is an excellent driver. With that, we'll toss it over to Alex. Tell us a little bit about Allison, aka Al, 10, and yourself.
Hi, I'm Alex. I play Al. I'm a digital artist, and you can find me around on Twitter at Agent Chaos or at Canned Chaos Art. If you're looking for some cool art stuff. Al is a robot who, well, she's looking for her sister. She's getting real tired of these people saying that she's sneaky. Because she's not doing anything, she's just wandering around. It's not her fault that they can't see what's right in front of them. Also, they badly need her because she showed up on them being swarmed by dire dogs. They need help. She'll make sure they don't die.
That's good. Next we've got Pat. Tell us a little bit about Wesley and yourself.
Sure. I'm Pat. I'm a Tactric on Twitch and on Twitter. I play role-playing games where people will have me. Occasionally, I run them on my channel when I remember that exists, which I'm getting better about. And there's video games and stuff on there every so often too, because I remembered it's there, so we're using it. And I play Wesley, who does not need any help staying alive. He's never felt more alive, and in control than with this crystal that he's on. Yeah, it's.
Oh goodness.
Unlike
I
all of his.
remembered where we left off last game.
Yep. Yeah, unlike all of his previous addictions, which did not give him awesome extra magic powers, this one can only be positive.
Right. Fantastic. Next, we've got Icy Historian. Tell us a little bit about you and Lula May.
Hello, friends. I am IC Historian at IC Historian, all of the places I feel like being found. I do not have a channel, but if I did, I would also forget about it. So it's just like I did have a channel because I'm not on there doing anything. I play Lula Mae Jessup, the former but totally still current gray market arms dealer and enemy of Danco. Who found this fabulous group because she got roped into a Danco promotional stunt and is now trying to stay alive. She does not agree that Wesley is in control. She would like to respectfully question that recounting of events, and is trying to launch a bit of a revolution against the corporate overlords of Danco. So that's what's going on with Lula May.
Awesome. Oh, excuse me. Then, last but not least, pardon me, Michael, tell us a little bit about Amanda and yourself.
Hello there, I'm Michael Wayne. You give me a clip, I'll give you a gif. I will be playing Amanda Starr, just a lowly monk of the Order of the Pisces, just going around and giving aid, such as knocking some danger dogs out of the way, removing some rocks so everyone wasn't trapped, very far. You can find me here and about. You can often see me on Wednesday on Bardic Knott's channel, where I reflavored Billy Bliss from Lightbringer for a Digimon game.
Very nice. That just leaves me. I am Raven. I am the creative director for the Raven Evermore, which includes tabletop game design, voice acting, art and graphic design, and streaming, clearly. I also do a fair bit of professional game mastering. So that's me. I play pretty much everyone else you're going to meet in this universe as the GM. And yeah, we'll jump right into it. So, when we left off last week, like we said, you had uncovered this sort of hallway that went deeper into the mountain, into the cave. And these crystals had sort of grown up over it so that you couldn't see it before Jeb smashed the Jeep into it. But after you backed the Jeep away, you were able to see it. Wesley, you know that it is at least somewhat similar in construction and aesthetic to the first treasure vault that you found back in the first season of this campaign. But it does seem a little bit different. It doesn't quite look like it's a vault necessarily, but it might be a good clue to where one might be. But yeah, it's basically just a dark hallway, which goes forward for a little bit at an angle that's sloping down but not too steep. And then you can tell that it turns a corner, and you can't really see what's around that corner from where you are. Jeb is going to stay with the Jeep and make sure it stays safe. Hey, thanks so much for that $4 donation, Michael. Some D6s for the cast, so that'll put the cast at 5 D6 total. For those who don't know how that works, we do this really cool thing where at certain numbers of interactions with the game tweet, D6s go to either the cast or to the GM. And then you can also do donations, either through direct donation, bits or subscriptions, which will let you do all the stuff down here, like plot points where you get to throw in suggestions to add things into the game. It's pretty fun. Alright, so that's 5 D6s for the cast there. Also, I apologize if there's any background noise. They're working on the unit next to mine, and they always seem to know exactly when I'm going to stream, and that's when they work on it. So, I apologize if there's any background noise. We'll try to keep it to a minimum. Alright, all that out of the way, that's what you all see. What do you want to do? How do you want to approach this?
didn't we end last time with like one of the Teds where somebody was glowing or something?
Yeah, you guys,
Oh, you're
Lulame,
right.
the Ted, Lulame, and Wesley have all drank from the bottle that had the rock and the dynamite.
Lulame didn't drink.
Lulame
We
didn't.
ended with Lulame holding it and watching and going,
Right.
Jeb did.
And Amanda was
Jeb
from a
did.
distance, focused on the door.
So because with everything going on with the move and everything, Zan hasn't given me a chance to respond back to a couple of questions I had about this. So we'll cover what happens to Jeb next week.
Okay.
So for now, Jeb's going to stay with the Jeep, and we'll find out what happens to him next week. But yes, I cannot believe I completely forgot about what happened at the very end of the session, which is, yeah, there was a stick of dynamite in a jug with some gasoline, alcohol, questionably drinkable beverage.
That we dropped a crystal in.
Thank
you!
Thanks so much for that subscription. Just let us know how you'd like to use that $5 on the viewer action board in chat there. Same for you, Pat, because you had this, the words are hard, subscription earlier. So yeah, you dropped a little chunk of that black lyrium into, or not lyrium, lyridium. We were talking about Dragon Age earlier, now I've got that on my mind. Black lyridium into the jug, and then yeah, generic Ted drank from it, Wesley drank from it, and Jeb drank from it. Then Wesley, your tattoos on your arm started to glow, and you started to feel like this surge of power. And the generic Ted was going, I don't feel so great. So with that, Wesley, I'm going to need a physical fortitude check.
Sure.
28. Fantastic. You handle this no problem. You feel a burning sensation in your stomach, but aside from that, you're pretty much okay. Now I'm going to need a magical engineering check.
Okay.
Fantastic.
I'm not good at much, but I'm good at these two things.
You feel explosive combustible energy flowing through you. You are not able to contain it, but because you got a 30, you can direct where it goes. Where would you like to send it?
Do I see, like, on any side of the cave, do I see... Oh, God, this is an awful idea, and I don't know why I thought of it, but committed now. I was gonna... Do I see, like,
This is
a
the game
big
for
thing
it.
of... Do I see, like, a big thing of crystal? Because in my mind, I was like, oh, that's probably too big for us to move, but I can blow it up into little bits, and then we can take more crystal with us.
Oh my god. Sure.
I feel like the
you know
only...
what happens when you suddenly apply heat to crystals?
Gonna
They
find
explode.
out. Well, I feel like things in this room are crystals in us.
I mean,
So I'm not
there's
sure.
an opening
There's
big
the
enough for the Jeep.
hallway!
But
Or the hallway.
but someone is standing directly in front of the hallway. I did
You can
think
make
of the
it go
hallway.
around them, it's magic!
There is an outside of the cave which is accessible now through that hole that Amanda cut in the rocks. Just throwing that out there. Feel free to ignore what I'm saying, but
You know what?
just letting you know.
What?
I'm fine with the original idea. Entirely up to you. If you
Skylight.
need a second,
Why don't I just shoot it straight up?
straight up into the crystals that are hanging down from the ceiling.
Yeah.
Okay.
But not maybe not directly above us in a part of the cave that we're not.
I just want above the table. I really love the fact that we're like, man, this could be dangerous. How could we possibly make it safer? A roof collapse. You know, I like that this is where we as a people have come to as our safe. This is our good, you know.
It's
Good.
Wesley's choice on
This
how
place-
they
I'm
want
not-
to do
I'm-
it.
No, I'm just
I am just putting some
love
facts on the tables
thought
about
process.
crystals on the board above the table, but I'm not about to stop you.
No,
Listen,
no, I'm just gonna point out the fact that, like, I'm sure gravity is still real, but, like, I've had a good run. You know, this has been good.
So I thought about the hallway, did not want to vaporize Amanda.
Fair.
I got nimbleness. I am more than willing. Do it. Like, go for it. I'm more
I
for
tell
a
you
try.
what, because I feel like my "Are you sure?" has come through in the tone already. So would you like to hear what happens to generic Ted before you make your decision?
Sure. Let's
I'm all for you shooting it at me. I have things prepared.
Okay.
all right. I'm sure the group will be forgiving if I murder you. I'm sure that will.
All right. So
Let's hear about generic Ted.
we're just gonna pause where, yeah, you're feeling this explosive, combustible, flammable energy build up, and you're like, I gotta direct this somewhere, but you got a second. You look over at generic Ted, who says, I don't feel so good. Generic Ted has zero magical ability whatsoever, and he just kind of holds his stomach as it starts to sort of inflate a little bit. There's this weird like glow, like, you know when you like have a high power flashlight and you put your hand over it, how you can still see the light shining through a bit. It's kind of the situation with his stomach. And then Ted explodes. Everybody give me a nimbleness roll that's in the room.
In the whole room?
Yep. Amanda's fine because she's in the hallway, but everybody else, I need a nimbleness check.
Oh, the poor car.
I love that that's your first thought.
I rolled a 6.
Oh no.
I'm trying to decide if 15 is enough, if I should roll a d6 on that. Like if 15 would be enough.
15 would help.
I'm gonna use the d6.
Trained doesn't do anything for me, does it?
Just for clarification, Wesley, did you have your subscription to be D6s or plot points?
I have not assigned it yet.
Okay, thank you.
Hasn't chosen yet. No, trained stamina points won't really help you here.
Damn it.
Okay, so 6. Okay, so that puts you at a 19. You take less damage than because you managed to dodge the bulk of it. So you're gonna take 4 damage from Ted Shrapnel. Everybody else is gonna take
So
2 damage.
Everybody else, you take less damage, twice as much as the rest of us.
We got some hot dice here. Roll as much
Well,
as you
I'll
can.
tell you, this really is your fault. You know, he was a good boy until he met the likes of you. It's your own damn fault. I'm sorry.
He wasn't.
LeMay is
though.
like picking Ted Viscera off of her Utilikilt.
I'd like to appreciate that Raven said it was the Ted shrapnel that hurt us and not the explosion itself.
Yes.
So I'm just imagining like the metal in the Ted's diet that is going out and piercing us.
I like the idea that it's the
I was
heat
thinking
of
like
boiled
bones.
Ted.
Oh, bones. I just imagine they get a lot of iron.
Viscera at
from
high
nails.
velocity does do damage.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask how I know that.
I just think it's hilarious that everybody else took 2d6, you took 2d4, but still took more damage.
I can
love
take it though. That's fine.
Great. My God. So yeah, you've just witnessed
And
that.
now we're all covered in Ted.
So upon seeing this, Lula May is going to like take out a little hip flask, and she is going to put a like the liquid in it and like hold on to it for later. Because she's holding the jug. She's like, yep, she's just not even gonna like react and just pour a little bit in there and tuck it into her apron. Utilikilt.
So, Wesley.
Allison pipes up with, man, we're really running out of Teds.
It's all right.
What do you want to do with this pent-up energy you've got?
Do I think, having seen the Ted explode now, do I think letting this out would be like a big laser that cuts through the ceiling? Or do I think it would create a chain reaction of death? Would I be able to assess
It would be a reaction in the same vein or similar to dynamite and gasoline.
Sure. I think someone here really wants me to pick the hallway. So let's what I can't tell what you want, Michael. I can't tell
You
what you
hit
want.
me! Not the hallway!
You're in the hallway.
Fair point.
Are you sure?
I'm not, but
Oh, I have two things in mind to deal with this. One is off the top of my head, maybe doing the block, which gives me a +5 since it's magic.
How about the far cave wall, like on the other side of where we need to be, that has crystal?
that's
How about through the tiny butthole opening that Amanda created? That'll like
I mean,
burn any dire dogs out there.
It's big enough to fit the Jeep through, so there is a big hole shooting towards or pointing towards the outside of the cave. But I am perfectly fine if you want to blow up some stuff.
so my thought was similar to what Jen just said in terms of like opposite side of the cave. I pictured a part of the roof far from us. I pictured a hole bringing some natural light, really opening the place up.
All right, we'll go with that. So you see on the far corner, where the roof sort of domes, there are a few big chunks of this black iridium sort of jutting down, but it looks like it's the thinnest layer of crystal right there, aside from those big chunks. And if you're going to hit the ceiling, you're able to survey and see that that looks like the best spot to hit. So, going with that for sure? Final answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was my instinct. We're going with that.
So, you sort of like punch towards that area and feel all that potential energy exit through your fist and go launching towards the ceiling. And it's like, you've seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, right? You know the guy with like the third eye on his forehead, like that mark?
Yes.
How it blows up. Similar thing. So there's just like this
Mr. Exploding
noise.
Boom Boom Man.
Yeah. And then that energy hits the ceiling and there's a big explosion of force and then fire. And those big chunks that were on the ceiling start falling. But as they're falling, they start glowing. Anybody that can see this, roll gut feeling.
I'm not even going with gut feeling. Allison is grabbing the two who are closest to her, so that's probably Lula May and MJ, and yanking them behind so the Jeep's between us and the crystal.
Okay. So yeah. All of you have a very bad feeling about this. Leslie, you're pretty sure that it's going to explode in a similar manner.
Not knowing, having a very poor like concept of repeating his problems, does he think he can absorb any of those rocks as they're falling?
You can certainly try.
Maybe at least one. At least suck some of the magic out of one so it doesn't explode.
I tell you what, roll education. We'll see how well you've managed to learn your own limitations.
Better than I thought.
Can I assist?
So- sure.
Lula May's gonna see the look in
Can
Wes's.
I also assist?
Lula May's
Sure.
gonna go, no. She's gonna like wrestle herself out of Al's grip and go like sort of be like, no, we're going.
Yep.
Go to the hall.
Allison's
Go in,
also
yeah.
going to like. At this point, she's like looking around. It's just like ditch the cave,
But if I
and
just
is like gonna start hauling MJ and like trying to make sure Lula May is heading with them, and Amanda will probably make her way up to
We're
them.
going down the hallway.
Out.
I could just redirect it somewhere, right?
Hey,
Like,
We're not
you're fine.
going out the hallway. We're getting out of this cave.
uh,
But
This
Volt,
cave's about to completely collapse this mountain on top of us. It's gonna chain react.
I'm going for the hallway.
Oh, in that case, Allison's going with everybody else to the hallway.
so
So,
now Lula May is going to be like, now we'll get you your magic explodey rocks on the way back. But, you know, I mean, in the memory of Ted, though he wasn't, you know, the brightest, or,
well, he was there at the end.
you know, he wasn't really, you know, intelligence was more of a dump stat for him, if we're going to use that type of language. But I think in honor of his sacrifice for the good of something, we will just let this rest for now.
We'll have to get Jeb to write that down.
Power up,
The
Alcan.
brightest
Raid
Ted.
power up, R.
His legacy will reign in
Yes,
the
yes,
archives.
of course we will, darling. Now you just come along with me down this hallway.
At
and
least we know what his favorite cocktail was.
May
Oh
I?
my god.
Black Rock gasoline.
I think we've
Oh
got
my
a new
goodness.
specialty drink for the church.
love it. It was the only way he would want to be remembered.
Oh my
I have an
goodness.
idea on to what to do, if you don't mind. And I'm okay if it could be argued otherwise, but my idea here is that as they get in there, like, because this energy is kind of like being used as kind of like has used that to actually funnel into the shield. So like essentially have like a chain reaction of that explosion has helped generate the energy to strengthen the shield that Amanda has, which I would think that would be an engineering tech role, but I'm okay with
Engineering.
anything.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. Sorry, one moment. I'm just I am adjusting cameras here real quick. There we go. I think I got everything in there. Welcome in, Nikki.
Hi.
Don't worry, everything's fine.
You're
It's all
not all
good.
about to die. Maybe.
This is why
Um,
Amanda is trying to use the jailbreak shield to kind of like use that explosion to help strengthen it, so that way we're all near the door and safe while these explosions that are magical and based are going off.
It's not a terrible idea, but they're not purely magical. And that's more of a tech thing.
Yeah, that's what I was arguing. Engineering tech
I mean-
role.
You can try.
Okay.
Not high enough.
Okay. How many d6s would I need to use?
You don't have enough. Like, it's not gonna happen.
Okay, how about plot points? How many plot points?
Plot points aren't gonna make it happen either. You can't buy your way out of this one.
Well, I tried.
I appreciate the thought, though.
We've had a discussion at some point about the DC of say avoiding a grenade explosion, and it I think we established it was like twice that.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
It's a lot.
But you're not necessarily all gonna die. So here's what happens. Now that we've established what everybody's trying to do, Amanda, you're getting up there with the shield, which is gonna help some. Wesley, you've ducked into the hallway. Lula May, you are ducking behind the Jeep, right?
I was ducking into the hallway to try and get Wesley to not, go after, sacrifice himself for the greater good.
All right, so we've got Wesley hallway, Amanda hallway, Lula May hallway, Al.
Allison is dragging Jeb and MJ down through the
Okay.
hallway.
Okay, everybody's in the hallway. So everybody's able to witness this from their vantage point behind the shield. These two big chunks start glowing as they fall down, and right as they're about to hit the ground, they also explode. With seemingly twice the strength of the explosion that went to the ceiling. Good news, you're not all dead. The ceiling doesn't collapse. Bad news, the Jeep is gone. It's just obliterated in this explosion. More of those crystals fall down from the ceiling. There's no more cave-in, so like you're still able to leave once everything dies down. The force of the blast, though, is going to overwhelm Amanda's shield at some point, though, and you're all going to be thrown back against the back wall of the hallway, and that will deal 8 damage to all of you.
Ow!
But you don't catch on fire. You don't get like shrapnel or anything like that. It's just sort of a little bit of a concussion. But it would have been a lot more than that without the shield. So good job, Amanda. Good news, though, you do notice, and I think all of you would be able to recognize this, that it didn't start a chain reaction. So there was the first explosion. Some crystals seemed to absorb some of that energy and then explode themselves, but the crystals didn't explode off of the exploding crystals.
And you said the second set of crystals that exploded with more force than was there initially, or more energy.
Yeah, it was a much bigger explosion. It totaled the Jeep. I mean, the Jeep's still there, but it's like...
I wonder if
like
you could set them off with bullets. This is said out loud, by the way.
Head count. Who's alive?
Not Ted.
Well, I get that, Al, but I wanted to make sure that everyone's alive. Just head count.
So there's all of the whole party, Jeb included. Who's whatever happens with Jeb isn't going to happen yet because Zan's not here. But either way, Jeb's going to stay outside when you go down. So Wesley, MJ, Allison, Amanda, Lula May, you're all alive and more or less well. Secret Journal Ted is also still alive. I think he's the only Ted still alive.
Secret Journal Ted survived? Oh yeah, he did. Because we interrogated him last time.
Hey,
Yeah.
there is no one more trustful than Secret Journal Ted, okay? I would die for Secret Journal Ted, okay?
You're
Very
getting way
nearly
too
did.
attached. You're getting way too attached to these Teds.
Hey, all those other Teds can die as long as Secret Journal Ted lives.
That's now you're thinking about it's the opposite. There's always a replacement Ted. There's always more Teds.
My goodness. All right.
You could
But
say
that's-
they're unlimited.
Oh, everyone
That was in
take
character.
1d4 of psychic.
Allison has an emoticon on her face. It's a
Wes-
smiley face.
Wesley is fucking dying from this in character. He loves it.
Amanda finger guns Al.
Everybody
Fantastic.
take 1d4 of psychic damage.
All right. So,
Is there anything left of what was in the Jeep? I'm sorry to interrupt, GM.
you're good.
Is there any like bits to pick over, or is it like obliterated?
Obliterate Ted.
Yeah. See?
All right. Well, I will get to that in 1 second. So
Okay.
while you're laughing at, or most of you are laughing at Al's pun, the dust settles, and yes, that's when you're able to get a good look at the Jeep. And it's basically been like, you know how you see cars in a junkyard where they've been kind of flattened.
Mm-hmm.
it kind of looks like that. Um, so things that were in the Jeep are probably still there. Some of it might just be a little squished or hard to get to. But like the engine and the trunk area especially have just sort of been crushed by the explosion, and it's on its side over on the opposite end of the cave. But the entrance is still open. It hasn't caved in, and there's more of those crystals on the ground now.
Okay. Is
Allison
there
puts another 5 small ones in her pocket.
yeah.
Amanda does the same.
Okay.
Is there a check I can do to see if any of either my lemonade or my more expanded tools made it?
Sure.
to grab?
Let's just do like a sight check to go look around for it.
Because Lulame is jonesing to start figuring out what she can do with this stuff.
23.
Nice.
Pretty good.
If I throw in a D6, will it be better?
No, then you're.
Okay.
It's basically just how well you're able to search the Jeep, and you did a pretty good job, enough to notice anything that's in there. And then I just rolled to see if there was a good chance that all of your stuff survived, and I rolled a 99 and a 1d100, so that's good for you.
Oh, good.
So yeah, your tools and stuff are fine, and there is an almost full case of lemonade left. There's one bottle that broke. The rest are fine.
Okay. So Lulame's gonna grab like some of her like beefier tools. I apologize, my eyes are watering terribly tonight.
worries.
Lulame's gonna grab some of her like tools, some of the things that she uses to like repair weapons, just in case, because she does need to repair her shotgun. And she is going to grab some lemonade just in case. Because you never want to be without your lemonade. Ever.
Okay. Sounds good. What's everybody else doing now that you've pulled yourself up? All of your ears are probably ringing too. A little bit.
What ears?
Okay, everybody but Al's ears are probably ringing a little bit.
Your head
Oh,
might be vibrating.
so weird flex, Al. I don't have ears. Look at me.
I don't have lungs, and I still figured out how to blow a whistle.
That was impressive.
That was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Now, I would suggest we keep going forward to see what's inside the not vault, as Wesley remarked.
I
Yeah,
mean, we may as well. We're here anyway.
I think it's like the same interior designer did both of them, but I don't know if this is a vault.
Wait, you can like hire interior designers that just do vaults?
I mean, I assume there's a market for it. You'd have to ask whoever made the place.
Oh, darling, if it's Danco, there's a market for everything.
Yeah, but this place is already nicer than any of Dan Co's headquarters.
True. Plus, it's a lot more
It has
material.
proper ambiance.
It's true.
Do you mind explaining that word?
Ambiance? You know, like atmosphere.
Ah. Thank you very kindly.
All right. So, given that you've all sort of dusted yourself off and everything, do you proceed deeper into this hallway, or is there any prep that you wanted to do before going down, or experimentation if you want to?
Amanda's
Given that
just
you
going
know new
forward,
information now.
because
Uh,
we're here to learn, and how else are we gonna learn if we don't go deeper?
Yeah, as we walk, Lulame is picking up some of the smaller crystals, like around the size that she could see herself putting into like an expanded magazine mod or like a scope mod. And she's like holding the crystal really tight in her hand and then seeing like if anything happens from it being warmed up, and like nothing like crazy. She's not like smashing them together, but she's definitely
Allison's gonna see this and come over with her own crystal and be like, watch this. And hits it against yours to make the spark happen.
okay.
Lulame's gonna go, okay, all right. But she's like just sort of like nothing crazy because she doesn't want to make an explosion or like nothing that like is insane, but she just wants to see like the storing and multiplying energy thing. She's
Sure.
trying to just like if she holds it, does it get warmer than her body heat? Does it glow? Does it hold on to her body heat? Does it do nothing? Like that type of thing.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem to react to just your body heat. There is a purple spark when Al hits your rock with hers. Amanda's just picking them all up.
MJ's
that's
gonna
it.
pick up what she can of her stuff and rocks, the purple rocks.
Allison's very happy she has large pockets.
Yeah, Lula May likes her utilikilt right now. Her utilikilt.
And these have roughly the same weight as like quartz crystals, if you've ever held one of those.
Oh yeah.
So you're welcome to take as much as you can within reason of your own strength. Don't feel like you need
Little
to.
quartz crystals don't weigh very much until you get a big quartz crystal and it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
They're fine until they're not.
They're hefty if they're large. So, yeah, just feel free to take however much you would like within that that stipulation that you'd have to reasonably be able to carry that much quartz as a replacement for weight. Any other experimentation or prep you want to do before we head into the cave or into the hall?
So do you to Lulamite, do you think when we charge one of these things up and it gets sparky boom energy, do you think we could send it right from one rock into another rock to charge it up? Or does it have to like come back through someone like me and then get sent back like a circuit?
So Lula May is kind of like looking down at it and she's like, I gotta say, I've never seen anything like this before, but I'm wondering if we run a current through it. I'm wondering what that'll do if we can find a way to control it, without, I don't know, exploding a living creature that might give us, some more, viability and a little few more options. But it looks like there is an energy discharge if the crystal interacts with another crystal. What I'm wondering about is if we can find a way to make this thing hold a charge, we might be able to control it and direct it at a certain middle manager who skips arm day. And she kind of looks like really like she looks like she's getting ideas, like the wheels are turning.
This is a character, by the way.
I was gonna say, I feel like Al and Amanda are both just standing like right there, like.
Lula May just sort of like looks between them. She's like, "Well, what?"
And I have.
What's up?
If you have something to say too.
What? Is there a way she could try to like do the phone? Do the phones have like charging ports?
Probably, yeah.
Can she like try to jam a piece into the charging port?
It's not the dumbest thing.
Allison's gonna look at MJ and be like,
today.
"Yeah, you're not out near any of my parts. Not anymore. Not after that. Please, woman.
It's your phone.
Jam a crystal into it.
You idiot."
Try. Let's do tech engineering for that one, MJ.
Okay, sorry.
No worries. That just was not what I was expecting to be said when you were gonna ask a question. It's a valid experiment, though.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Raven Evermore After Dark.
Where we jam things into other things. Don't call it murder,
saucy
though.
here.
Oh my god. 27. So yeah, they're. I mean, the phone ports are basically designed, of course, for power to go in, but they can. It's a USB, so there's some power that goes back as well. So there's a weak electrical charge coming from your phone into this little rock of what we're calling black iridium. And the inside of the crystal seems to glow a little bit brighter. But that's all that seems to
Ooh.
happen. It doesn't
Need a
explode in your
stronger
hand or
power
anything like that.
source. I want more glowy.
I just imagined
Fuck
you
off,
looking at
stay
Al.
away. Also,
Michael.
to Lulu May, you think you can make bullets out of us?
Darling, if I get back to anything resembling a workshop, I bet I can make an awful lot out of this. She's like looking at it like it's the first time that she's actually like smiling like in a way that's like super real, like she's legitimate, like very
Do you want
excited.
dibs on everything, on all the ones I've already picked up?
She's like, I think, we do not yet have a means of conveyance, but I do think that I might.
You make me bullets, I'll give you rocks.
Do we still have our flashlight?
Yeah. Real quick though, Michael had a question. What's up?
The thing that kind of like occurs to like I think Amanda Weldon is probably to try to understand the type of magic this is. So it feels as though this might be an inverse of maybe life. Like, would that be a magical engineering role?
It would. You can definitely see if you can kind of attune with it. See if it matches your magic style. 31? Yeah, with a 31, you were able to tell that this is not life magic. It is some other kind of magic.
Yes, but she specifically was thinking like this is the inverse, as in like this is something.
It is also not like necrotic magic. So it is neither life nor the opposite of life.
So that reserves it down to an energy.
You with a 31, you might sense a little bit of because you're not actually using it, you're just sort of examining it. You can also tell that it has some sort of corrupting property to it.
Yes, but what exact? Like, do they understand that it's at least like mental corrupting or energy corrupting? Because their first thought was it was life corrupting, and that was proven wrong.
Yeah, you're not able to tell because you're not quite able to understand what kind of magic it is. But you do know it has a corrupting effect.
Point of information, is the corrupting effect from holding it, or is the corrupting effect from like using it to make explosion happen?
I believe it's. Sorry.
Yes, you're good. So far from what all of you have been able to see, and assuming Amanda shares this, you know this in character as well. It's just when you use it, not from being around it or holding it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so and when you use it, like, well, I mean, so far in like the traditional way of Wesley, like taking it in and then expelling it out through his body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the reason I'm asking is like if like doing anything sort of mechanical to it, if Lula May gets the sense that she would be corrupting if she just is manipulating it, but not like with her own body, with like purely mechanical means.
I mean, you don't feel 100% sure on any of it, but just from your visual observations and interactions with it so far, your limited knowledge, you feel pretty safe. That if you're just handling it and modifying it with physical tools, it's probably not going to do anything bad to you.
Okay.
Except maybe explode if you mishandle it.
Okay, fair. Thank you.
I mean, what is corruption really?
What's a little corruption between friends,
Well, that is one way to look at it. The other thing is that it's artificial in nature. Then if it's not related to life or death, which may mean that this vault is more about what can create it. So maybe if we can get to the center, we might not even need to collect them. The process might already have been done. And this is the after effect of after it's been processed.
That's a good point, darling. That's a good point.
It's a possibility.
Raven, did this feel manufactured or like not natural when I essentially baselined it? Because like my magic was artificial. Like I was like experimented on, and it was like Liridium was essentially infused onto me. Does this feel similar to that, or does this feel like made?
Give me a magic engineering check to now that you're thinking about it. 22. You're not sure because Ted and Brownie were kind of loud in your ear, and you were distracted by the power and seeing hallucinations and things.
Oh god, the power.
But,
it was so good.
Yeah. But you don't get like a blatant feeling that this is somehow like synthetic.
Alright.
It's not to say that it's natural, but you didn't get an overwhelming sense of synthetic either.
Just for a little clarification, I'm meaning more like how the iridium is something that was seeded outwards onto a planet, that kind of artificial seeding.
I see. It's obviously like a fast-growing crystal, but as for whether or not it's native to Calamity, it's hard to tell from just your limited observations and testing.
So, while do they have their flashlight still?
Yeah, there's still a flashlight. It probably survived all of this.
I grabbed the big bag of all the tools and stuff that we had
Okay.
grabbed, as well as some lemonade if you're thirsty.
Well, right now she's like taking apart the flashlight, like taking the batteries out and trying to see if the rocks will work as a battery.
Okay. What's up, Alex?
Allison is going to try and light a cigarette with the sparks from the rocks.
It's just a nimbleness check. For the dexterity that you need to do this.
22.
Yeah, you're good.
And she's, for all intents and purposes, looks like she's smoking a cigarette.
So, I'm trying to think if this would do anything weird. No. It just lights like a normal cigarette. But it works.
Mm-hmm. That's what matters.
Didn't know you smoked.
Okay.
Why do you think I have this many cigarettes?
Lulame pulls out a pack of the same exact cigarettes that Al had stole that she borrowed from Al, and like indicates over to like light hers as well.
All right. Allison lights hers as well with the rocks.
Wow, I've never seen cigarettes before.
Lulame like takes a drag.
You've never seen cigarettes before?
No.
Here, kid, have one.
Oh, darling.
I think I'm allergic.
Here.
This isn't normally when I smoke, but
No, trust me, you won't be allergic. You'd be dead by now hanging out with me.
Oh, sure, thanks.
So going back to MJ, you were trying to hook up the batteries to the rock, or you're trying to use the rock as the battery for the flashlight?
She's like she's like fiddling with it. You know, she takes the battery out, touches it, puts the battery into the rock into the flashlight, takes it out.
Okay. So when you try combining the batteries with the rock, it glows similar to how it did with the phone, but it's brighter, and the rock feels just a tiny bit warm.
Okay, I'm letting everybody know this because I'm excited.
Okay.
Even though I just told everyone I've never seen a cigarette before.
And now you have to try and smoke a cigarette in front of everybody.
So
And then-
Lulame looks really excited when she sees this because she has made gun modifications where she's run a current through something to like provide extra power, or like to operate a mechanical scope, or to like modify the like type of damage that a weapon does. So she's very, very, very excited.
Okay, awesome.
Wesley.
And then one more thing with MJ: when you try putting the crystal in the flashlight, as luck would have it, it's roughly the right size that you need. So both ends of the crystal touch both contacts, and the flashlight turns on.
Oh, nice. A regular light or like weird magic-y?
That's a fair point. It's probably got a little bit of a purple tint to it.
Ooh,
But
pretty.
aside from that, it seems pretty normal. Amanda, go ahead and go.
Wesley, this seems like, regardless of the use, we could actually use it to overcome the minefield area.
Huh? I mean, I can think of, yeah. I think you could use it for a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't know what you were saying about corruption because I feel great. I've never
Well,
felt better.
Again, this is very much less in the technical sense. It's more in that it draws energy and resources from you. That it could be either, as we see, it's simple electro exchange, as in to give you something it must take, much as we see with MJ working with the light, Al with lighting the cigarette, that it's a simple exchange, that it has to take something from the magic user to have a use. And that may be the corruption. It's just relaying on that exchange of energy, because you do have to have equivalent exchange.
Well, about halfway through, he zoned out just a little bit. Yeah. Except then, like, it did stuff, but bigger. So, like, that didn't feel very equivalent. I zapped it, and then it had a bigger explosion than what I zapped it with.
So,
Yeah.
if I may,
Refractoring.
it's almost like this is some sort of energy prism, right? Like you put
Exactly.
it in and it focuses it, and sort of it bounces off all in there and then comes out bigger.
Yes, but
Now,
here's the thing: is for how it looked for Wesley, it looked as though you're using very much of the lightning technique of letting it hit you and redirecting it, which may mean that it had a draw on you mentally in some aspect, if it did not physically, to have that quote-unquote corruption to have the cost for the use.
Huh?
Again, I am just hypothesizing. This is on knowledge and expert of life magic and spreading it on to this energy. So it may not be one for one. It's me trying to understand this unknown thing with knowledge I have already. It may be incorrect, but that's the only baseline I have.
Lula May is not going to say anything, but she looks at Wesley, and it's really obvious that she's like very much in agreement. Like, she doesn't want to tell Amanda yes, because she kind of is like very protective of Amanda, right? She doesn't want to be like, yep, he's kind of fucked up. So, but she just is sort of looking at Wes like kind of waiting to see how he wrangles his way out of this one in front of the kid. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I feel, like I said, I feel great. I feel never better. And I mean, you said you deal with like life energy and all that. So if that was the case,
Weren't you
then
like
if
yelling at Amanda, then telling her she wasn't real?
No, I was yelling at Ted, who was a ghost who was in Amanda's spot. Ghosts do that sometimes.
Yeah. Buddy,
see
buddy,
there! It's a
buddy.
spiritual consumption. I see. That's
Oh, no,
where
it's-
it is. It's
it
bringing
just-
the spirit towards you that has already passed
Or
away.
he's hallucinating.
See, I get where you're coming from, but I had these hallucinations like way before we ever found this magic awesome rock that I think we've all agreed is only a net positive for the group.
Yes,
But
and I
it's
think
not
also
new.
it is, yes, it is refractoring on what you had already
what-
and amplifying it.
What I was saying,
At that moment, Wesley, when you say, which we could agree is only a net positive for the group, Ted's like just sitting on top of the crushed Jeep and just goes, oh yeah, net positive. because I have to
Ted
be back here. This is so positive.
Mm-hmm. Ted, I mean, you just went up like 2 Ted spots in the rotation, so shut up. It was good for you. But what I was saying before is like, if you have to deal with,
Is that how you treat all your Teds, Wesley?
not
Shut
all
up.
of them.
Good for you.
Not all
Well,
of them.
again,
Some of them
Wesley
are,
was
some of
on
them
a
are jerks.
point.
Secret Journal Ted is crying now.
Put it in
No,
your
no,
journal.
Made him
not
cry.
you! So, no, Secret Ted! You're different than the other Teds.
What I was saying was
You're
that,
not generic Ted who exploded.
yeah,
Totally his fault.
yeah. Generic Ted really fucked up that situation by not being able to handle all of that awesome power. But anyway, what I was saying is Amanda can deal with like life forces and stuff. So clearly if I was corrupted in some way, they would be able to sense that. Like a canary in a coal mine.
I would
Or
not,
something.
because my order is very different than the Order of the Sleeveless Way. If it wasn't indicated by me wearing sleeves and you not, and we both have different knowledges, and we both gain from that different life experience that
Right.
each we have.
But yeah,
You
it's
could
'cause
just cold turkey it.
I've
No, my
played
cousin
that.
was corrupted, and they acted just like that.
Like what?
Like corrupted.
But like what?
Are you meaning that they
normal.
acted exactly like
Oh no, yeah,
Wesley?
normal.
Corrupted?
Yeah. Yeah,
Normal.
just like he's acting.
MJ gets
Corrupted.
it. And I'm sure your cousin is fine, right? Better.
Yeah,
even.
totally. That cousin is fine. That cousin from that place.
All right, let's go. We got a not a vault to explore, right?
Yes, not a vote. Let's explore, because it is fine. It's perfectly fine.
I mean, I'm
So-
fine.
On the way down the hallway, Lula May kind of like leans in to Wes, like not in front of the other people, but she's like, so like, what did y'all find in the first vault?
God, what was it? Well, I mean, there was the dragon. There's a dragon that vomited a bunch of purple stuff on people, and you needed the purple stuff to be able to go through walls, which is why I drank the thing in the first place, because I didn't know if I'd need to do that in here. Then there were some skeletons, and there were some cool skeleton weapons. There was a room with a bunch of gold coins, but I think the gold coins were like animals or something. Then there was this golden turducken that came out of nowhere. There were some gators. There was a sentient meatball.
I meant in terms of, the famed treasure of the vault. Like,
Right.
was there one or?
Yeah, no, it was good. I remember a lunchbox.
A
And there was
lunchbox?
other stuff that we put in the lunchbox because everything could fit in the lunchbox for some reason.
Oh,
And it must have been really good because Danco showed up and wanted all of it. And then I thought we killed Dan, but I guess we didn't. But it was all good. There was good shit.
So Lula May is like Lula May in her mind is wondering what exactly the prizes of the vault are, and she's wondering if what Danco really wants is this power source, and their whole vault hunting thing is just a way to get people to send them to this power source. So that's why she's like asking a lot about that.
Out of character, there were I think there was like a bunch of other cool weapons and shit that we got that I don't remember. But
Right.
Wesley would remember and continue rambling on about.
There was
Yeah.
a whole bunch of like gold and jewels and your typical like treasure box type stuff, and then a bunch of like dragon bone weapons and guns and things like that were in there as well.
Yeah,
And Danco came and took it all.
No, it's like I said, I thought we killed them, but we kept the money. I don't remember where my money went.
You defeated everybody that came after you. I don't remember if Dan was actually there or not. If it was, we're gonna say that was a body double.
I feel like it works for Wesley's not entirely sure. Like out of character, I thought he was, but it makes sense that Wesley wouldn't remember if he killed him or not.
I thought it was a hologram that you defeated.
There was a hologram of an invisible ninja person at some point. There was a lot of shit going on. I phased
episode.
I phased through a mountain at some point, and then the mountain became a hologram of someone. It was a lot.
Okay, so I think I get what happened. Now if you start developing any cold or flu-like symptoms, you just let me know, okay?
Yeah. I mean, I feel, like I said, I feel ship shape.
Great.
Never felt better.
Good. I'm glad of that.
Wait, what
I'm gonna
shape or
end
sheep?
this conversation for right now, but I think when we get back to some place that doesn't actively want to kill us, like as blatantly as this place does, I think I have a plan.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot of places like that on Calamity, so you kind of have to like settle. But the camp will work, I bet.
Yeah. Questionable wardrobe choices, Ted, I think, will enjoy having us back.
All right. So, you've done a fair bit of experimenting with these crystals. So I think at this point you've learned about all you're going to be able to learn here. Do you want to go ahead and start heading down towards wherever this hallway leads you?
I thought that's what we were doing, just talking along the way to it.
I figured you were probably still in the cave since you were doing some testing and experimenting, which would require you to be sitting still. Right. Well, in that case, unless there's any objections, we'll have you heading down this hallway. What you find is that it's a bit like a spiral staircase, sort of. You can't see down, to the bottom or anything, but it's this hallway that kind of goes on for a bit, and then it curves around a corner and goes, off in the other direction for a bit, and then curves around again. All the while, a shallow decline in the walkway. So the effect is that you're going sort of straight down by doing a circle through these hallways, if that makes sense.
Would
And-
anyone
Slow
object for me
spiral.
doing
Yeah.
something dumb here?
Before you do something dumb, let me tell you one thing that you do notice as you start heading down. Once it starts to get a little bit dark, like you can't really see any of the light from the entrance anymore, you do see a faint purple glow. And as you get closer to it, it gets brighter, and it looks sort of like a torch. It's a black metal. The metal seems to be lighter than iron, but it has the appearance of iron. And on top is this, looks like a polished black lyridium orb on it, which is glowing like a torch.
Can I pull it off the wall?
Yeah. It seems to be set up to where you can just pull it off and take it with you.
Cool. This is mine now.
So that is present, and I wanted to make sure that you knew that in case that might affect the stupid thing you were planning on doing.
No, it just makes it so that Al can actually see what stupid thing. Which is, Amanda kind of like pulls up and Kate's like hits a couple of buttons on the shield. It turns like very like large as both the yo-yos are happening to be connected to get this large size on it, and then essentially just goes waves and then just goes down it like a bobsled, like down the stairs on the shield.
Okay.
Well,
Is she like bouncing off the walls since it's a spiral staircase?
Yes, and because it's a shield, it's not causing problems. It's just bouncing
Nice.
off.
How did she get a sled?
Would it damage the shield?
Well, let's see how fast you're going. Give me a might roll to see how much momentum you're able to get before you hop onto it and start sliding. 16. So you're not going all that fast. It looks more like a ping pong not a ping pong, a pinball machine, but the
Ding,
bumper
ding.
itself is moving around. Um, so yeah, you just hear like doo, 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 from higher up as Amanda is moving at a not a slow speed, but not a super fast speed either. About the speed of like a light jog, if you will, a little bit faster than walking, and then just yeah, bouncing around as you head down. Unfortunately, Amanda, you only have the light of that your shield is giving off, so it's pretty dark. It might even be a little bit scary as you're swinging by these walls. The walls themselves seem to be like an amethyst color, with the texture of smooth stone. And as you are bouncing off the walls, quite literally, you do notice there's some strange rune-type carvings in the walls, though you're not able to read what it says. But you can tell that there are words here of some kind, perhaps that might even give instructions or directions or possibly warnings. But you do notice that as you slide down. And as you get out of earshot of the group, I think that's a great spot to take a quick break. So we'll take a 10-minute break, give everybody a chance to stretch your legs, grab snacks and things like that, and then we will be right back and we'll see what they find at the bottom of the stairwell. Or ramp well, I guess. Alright, be right back. Hey, and we're back. Sorry about the delay there, but looks like we've got everybody back, and audio and all that stuff is working. So, where we left off, Amanda was basically sort of like pinball machine bouncing on this shield sled down this spiral stairwell, or it's not exactly a stairwell, it's like a ramp stairwell. And just as it starts to get harder to hear the tum 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 for the rest of the group, Amanda, it gets like pitch black. You can't see anything at all, and you're still sliding for ways, and you've been picking up speed steadily as it's still on an incline or a decline, however you say it. Do you do anything to light your way, or look around, or try to slow yourself down, or anything like that?
No, the light of the shield's all that they're needing. But again, like, they're mostly just thinking, okay, here's an excuse to have fun. Probably near the end, they probably will do kind of like right before it gets off, where they might see, just because I'm guessing all they are able to see because of the light of the shield on them is about a couple of inches ahead, so they would see when it's about to end, and then probably like cartwheeled and have the the yo-yos kind of like on them, using that as a light source.
Okay. It's a pitch black, so it doesn't give you a whole lot of light. About like you would expect from like a glow stick. So because you're starting to pick up speed, it's not really illuminating super far ahead of you, but you are able to see what you're passing as you go, and you are starting to pick up an alarming amount of speed as the angle of the floor starts getting a little bit steeper and steeper the further down you get. After a while, you do see more and more of those that writing on the wall. Still can't make out what it says. And then your little bit of light kind of shows that there's a sudden drop just ahead of you, where it looks like a big part of the floor is. It's hard to tell because of the limited light and how fast you're going, but it looks like there's floor missing. Like maybe that just a section of floor just isn't there, and it's too dark to tell what's down. What would you like to do?
Would you say that kind of like they're going fast enough that this is going to be essentially a little ramp, or?
There's no ramp at the lip of this, so if you were
No,
going
like
to try
for
to
example,
jump
like for example, if you're going quickly speed and there's a sudden drop for X amount, then you would suddenly just go down there. So that's why, like, I'm wondering if that's how you're describing it.
Sort of, except there's nothing to make you angle up. So looking at it, yeah, like that, like on Alex.
It's more like a speed jump than it is a ramp.
Yeah, there's no ramp, there's no incline that would make you get air. It's just that the floor just stops for a little while, and doing some quick calculation, you're not sure that you're going to make it across the other side if you just ride it.
Is there anything like nearby that a yo-yo could just like wrap around?
You don't notice any sconces or bars or anything like that. The walls are smooth amethyst-colored stone, and there's very limited light, so you can't see very far away from where you are. The gap looks to be about 15 or so feet.
Then probably like before, we'll try to just cartwheel a little up, so there are a couple of steps up right before it. Then, which I'm guessing would be a nimbleness check.
Yeah. So you're basically trying to get on your feet before you go over the edge?
Yeah, like a couple of steps, just kind of like cartwheel backwards, so up the steps essentially. Is a 15 good enough?
If I'm understanding what you're trying to do, so you're trying to like cartwheel backwards, so that you're no longer riding the shield. You're on your feet trying to move, stop your momentum, right?
Yeah.
Okay. A 15 won't be enough to do it just with your feet, but I'll let you do spend a stamina point, and try to do something else to slow your roll, so to speak.
To use the magical engineering to have like the monk move, quick reaction, correct?
No, you're just spending a stamina point for an extra action.
Okay.
It's basically my way of being nice and saying you're gonna fall in this pit if you just do that. So I'm giving you another action to try to not fall into it.
Would you be okay with just like the point is spent for slow fall? So like they are still falling, but the fall is not going to probably injure them.
Well, you just have life magic right now, right?
Yeah, but you've said that it would be a case of like they are using they're using the energy of the body to just slow fall like a monk would, because I believe last time I asked you about that, it would be a stamina point to do it, and then a magical engineering to see if it's successful for slow fall.
Yeah, sure, we'll do that. I can't remember what we talked about, but it's been a heck of a few days, so if that is what I said, then that'll work. Stamina point spent, magic engineering roll to try to do that, and then we'll see how well you do.
I'm going to spend a d6 because I feel like I need at least a 25 for that.
Okay.
Okay, because that would make it 30 overall.
All right. So you are able to do that as you sort of slow down. I'm going to say you're using the shield as sort of an umbrella as well, to just kind of parachute down, focusing your energy into just not falling as fast. You notice that there are like a lot of stalagmites on the floor, and falling on that at full speed would be devastating. You are able to grab onto one instead of falling onto them. So you don't take any damage, but you are about 20 feet from the edge where you slipped off.
Well, if possible, like, probably going to try to do the Prince of Persia double jump of just like jump from back and forth between like the stalagmite to try to climb up. Then.
Okay. Do you make any noise as you're doing this? Do you call out or anything like that?
No, because again, like this is very much about the general monk training, like that would be from the Order of Pisces, is that you go focus on fluid movements to kind of like be with the flow of it. It wouldn't make much sense to focus on talking while you're trying to do that.
No, I just mean like during the entire thing. So like seeing the lip falling off the edge and all that. Did you make any noise during that?
I think it's just more of like, huh, 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 huh.
Okay. Then we're going to pause there, go back to the rest of the group. You hear Amanda doing the tung 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 as the shield bounces off the walls. And then you don't hear anything.
Lula
Who
May's
wants
gonna
to take
look up and go,
bets?
that can't be good.
Who wants to take bets?
I don't know if betting on the poor girl's longevity would really be the kindest thing we could do in this moment. But if you've got an over under and an even split, I'd be willing to have a conversation about it.
Wait, are we talking like pieces?
Hey Raven, can I do some robot calc math for over under even splits?
Sure.
Can I roll education? Because I've been around a lot, I am going to use mine like a trap with +3 education for remembering things.
Yeah.
And
that
remembering being around bookies.
works. Yeah, you absolutely can.
Thank you. 16 plus 3, 19. I'm gonna roll a d6.
Okay.
So that's 23.
23. Okay. And you're wanting to figure out what was it exactly?
I want to figure out what the odds of Amanda surviving, having died, in at least one or two ways she could have possibly injured herself.
I was gonna say, are we betting on like how many creatures we find eating her, if she survived, how many pieces?
I want
we
to
may
start with
find
the
her in?
basics to start with. Then, as I get more data to extrapolate from, we can go into details.
Okay. Odds on Amanda being dead are not great. Like, she's probably alive. Odds on injury. Given that you're also starting to see these writings on the walls and you don't know what they are, you figure there's a fair chance that maybe that's a warning or some sort of instruction that she's probably not able to see as she's racing down the stairwell, gaining speed. Odds of injury, such as broken limbs or cuts and bruises, are pretty high. I think there was a
Odds
third
of
one.
life-threatening injuries.
Low to moderate.
It's like, all right. So here's the odds I've got figured. She's probably alive. Probably hurt. Barely a chance of her being dying. She's a fucking roach. Maybe a chance she needs help.
So
Like
you want to
those
help her?
Or-
Well, that's
We
up to
we
you folks.
can.
Are we going to help her?
We can't leave the poor little darling down there. Who knows what'll happen to her?
I mean, we should definitely help her. The best way to help may be to proceed slowly and not fall down this ramp.
I'm allergic to being in the front of the line, so you have to go to the front, and I'll just go to the back.
It shove secret journal Ted in front.
Lula May gets a little teary-eyed as she sort of makes her goodbyes with Secret Journal Ted in her head.
Al is paying close attention to the writing and stuff and seeing if she can pick up a pattern or whatnot with the glowy torch as they're walking down.
Okay.
AKA, have I seen this before?
What in particular before? Sorry.
This style of writing, have I seen it before?
Okay. Okay, that was weird. I just went right as Kat did the emote in chat. Like, exactly the same time. Did Allison do any sort of treasure vault hunting previously?
Yes. That's what she's been doing for the last 10 years, trying to find her sister.
Okay.
She basically attaches herself onto Vault Hunters groups and
Right.
follows them to try and find signs of her sister.
Then yes, I think Al might have seen something like this.
Well, then wouldn't Wes have seen it before?
Probably.
Would he remember?
Seen and comprehended or retained are different questions.
For some reason, I feel like I was the member of the group that could read it, but I also don't know that I would have retained that skill at all.
So I'll have Wesley roll education to see if you can recall.
Definitely not.
I roll
and then-
education to see if I can try and make sense of it yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have a strange feeling that maybe if you were super drunk, you might be able to remember.
I don't do that anymore, Raven. Only the best substances.
18.
18. Yeah, you are able to recall not so much like what the letters and words say exactly, but you know that they are tied to whoever built the vaults. It is their language, and you're able to decipher enough that you get the sense that it's some sort of warning. No clue as to warning you about what, but there's just like a sense of danger about the words.
Yeah, so watch out for shit. These aren't good words. Fuck if I know what they say, but I know they're not good words. What?
Lula May's getting worried about Amanda, and she kind of like calls out a little bit, like, but not like wanting to be too loud because she's imagining like that there's hordes of like angry things like just on the edge of the dark, and she's like, Amanda, darling, you all right? Lula May doesn't like love that. Lula May does not love the dark. She definitely is much more of a, as a like ranged weapon gal. She's a lot more into like having that, like she doesn't like not being in a place of advantage.
Makes sense. So Amanda, you probably hear that very faintly as you're trying to jump up these stalactites. Now, the problem with the stalactites, or stalagmites rather, is they're at the bottom of this pit. So even at the top of them, where you are, there's still somewhere between 15 and 20 feet of gap between the floor above and where you are. So can do the like hopping from column to column type thing to make sure you're at the highest point you can be on top of these stalagmites, but there's still a ways to go. How would you like to attempt that, or do you want to call back to Lula May?
I would think, is it at least where Amanda can visually see the top?
Yeah, if you've got the light from your shield, you can just barely make out the lip of the floor if you hold your shield up, looking at it.
Then she would probably just, if she can, I'll leave this up to GM. Like, if she can hit one of the buttons with her hand on the shield to allow it so that it can hook onto something before throwing the yo-yo up there and trying to get up that way.
Okay.
Which, are you good with the range attack like we have done in the past?
No, it wouldn't be an attack to try to do this. It's a stationary, non-moving thing, so I won't make you roll an attack. We'll do a skill roll. So you're basically wanting to make your yo-yo a grappling hook? And try to grapple onto something?
Yeah, which we have in the past been like, I'd still do the same roll like I would with a yo-yo. It just wouldn't have any weapon damage.
Right. And in this case, though, I think I want to do You just look at skills. I'm thinking more nimbleness.
Okay, then. Would you be okay with, like, beforehand, just kind of like to juice it, they use a stamina point just to focus the body before doing so?
No. So the reason I said spend a stamina point was because the action you chose to do was not going to help you enough, and so I was saying, well, let's throw a stamina point in there to give you an extra action so you can try to do something else, which you did.
I'm meaning more like it's very focused on their training to hopefully gain a little edge on this nimbleness roll.
Um, Stamina points won't really help you there. It would help you if you're trying to use magic, but in this case, I don't think life magic will help you on that.
Oh, well,
so
I tried.
Would go with nimbleness. 15. You do get the yo-yo up there, and how have you configured it to work like a grappling hook?
It's just like roughly what it is like going around there. The yo-yo is just going right around the actual stone, probably almost barely on there. So Amanda only has like one attempt at pulling themselves up there before it breaks. So it's high risk or high reward situation where, like, when they pull, they either will get pulled up or it will not work at all, and they are
Gotcha.
stuck.
So it is. There isn't like a rocks hanging out or anything like that. It's basically the floor comes out and then it just drops straight down. So you would need something that would dig into the floor.
Well, like, again, the shield itself, we've established that it has kind of like that function of just when using the spinning attack against the danger dogs or dire dogs. So
Okay,
it
so
just
you want to use that like a blade to cut into the rock.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. With the 15, it's not quite enough to do everything that you're trying to do, but I will do a no but. You don't succeed at what you're trying to do, but you do get it stuck into the rock wall about 10 feet up, so you could get to within 5 feet of the lip by pulling yourself up the yo-yo. So you can get closer, just not quite all the way up.
Okay, with that, let's go back to Lula May.
All right. So at this point, you probably heard a thud as the shield blade thing cut into the rock. You might hear some grunting from Amanda trying to get up the rope as y'all are getting closer.
So Lula May is like, this is where her like softer side is coming out, like the more like human side. Like she's legitimately concerned about Amanda. So she's kind of like doing that thing that like moms do where they're like talking. They just like talk because they're trying to like calm down. And she's like, she just rushes ahead and she doesn't say anything. And like, we could have helped her. We could have told her if she wanted to slide. We could have figured out how to help her slide. But she just gets those yo-yos going and like she just the girl just runs off. It's like she doesn't understand. We're a team. You got to stick with your team. And she's like literally hand-wringing, but like instead of hand-wringing, she's like pulling out her pistol because she's like literally like ready to like throw down in defense of Amanda.
May I remind you that in character, Amanda did ask, do you mind if I do something stupid?
Oh, I thought that was out of character.
Yeah, I also
That was out of character.
So I mean, I get it. Like the girl's got a good spirit. She's got a wonderful heart. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. We're down here and it's creepy and it's dark. It's cold. My feet hurt. I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna find her, the poor thing. So she's like looking around, but she's definitely like also got her like gigantic like custom designed like pistol that she's like ready to tear ass all over whoever is daring to hurt Amanda.
And the
Okay.
Ted see anything ahead? Since the Ted is in the front.
Secret Journal Ted's just looking around, kind of sticking close to whoever has the torch light.
Do you see anything, Secret Journal Ted? Do you see
Weird
her?
writing on the walls. I see.
Yeah, but that's everywhere.
I see dark up ahead.
Oh, she's probably at the end of whatever spinning death hole this is. I mean, it's only logic that that's where she could go, riding on a shield like a dumbass.
It looked
Now, we don't want to speak ill of her until after we make sure that she's alive. Then we can ream her out all we want. But we don't know if we may be speaking
Is
ill
that
of
a
her right
promise?
now. We just want to be careful of that.
Oh my goodness. All right. Unless there's anything specific that you want to do, I'll just fast forward to you getting to where this drop off is. With having the light with you, you can see that there's a lot more writing on the walls here. That say different words. Wesley and Allison can both try again to understand the words here because they are different ones. But before we do that, you all see the same thing that Amanda very briefly saw, but you have the chance to look around a lot more, and you have more light. So basically, the floor just ends. It's a sheer drop off, and there's a pit, if you will, of these sharp stalagmites, which spans out about 15, maybe a little bit more than 15 feet. And then the floor starts again. You're able to see all of this. You also see Amanda hanging about 5 feet down, holding on to this yo-yo that's embedded into the rock face. I imagine probably going, okay, what now? There is more to see, but you'll have to make a sight check to see if you notice it.
All right. That was education.
Okay.
Not. All right. Who had dangling precariously from a cliff?
The 18 was from education for me.
Okay.
The 25 was sight because I wasn't sure if I was also supposed to.
No, that's perfect. And that's not 20, so that actually makes it a 35.
Oh, I wasn't paying
18%.
attention. I'll give you all a moment to get over the shock.
Okay, so we'll start with Allison. You're able to make out some of the words. You're able to kind of get the gist that this spot is a test, and that no witches allowed is kind of the sense that you get from it. You're not quite sure if that's the right word, but the closest that you can approximate is witches, and they're not allowed.
Hey, Wesley!
Yeah, I'm right here.
Do you count as a witch?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, I don't think you're supposed to be in here.
I mean,
What'll happen?
Oh, as far as I can figure out, this is some sort of test site, and witches aren't allowed. So Wesley,
that-
you gotta go.
does that mean Amanda's a witch?
Probably. She does that weird thing where she sucks the life out of people.
Wait,
It's
what?
creepy.
No, she puts it back in, darling.
No, she sucked the life out of a Ted. I saw it happen.
Out of a Ted.
I know, right?
They are meant to take injuries from outside of the cult, not from within.
Well, it's a learning experience then.
We're gonna have to have a meeting about
Also,
this. aren't
a
we?
lot of the time within. Now that I think about it.
Would any of you be strong enough to actually catch me?
Well, I haven't worked out in a couple of weeks, so
Right, Ale said I shouldn't be in here, so.
So
Let me see what's in my pockets.
Let me get to the site part. So, Wesley, you notice like as the torch light kind of spans out over the gap, you notice the tiniest outline, like a shimmer of a line going straight across it. Lula May with a 35, you see what looks like a translucent purple walkway, almost like purple glass. Everywhere the torchlight hits it, you can see it.
Okay. Like across the span?
Yeah, it's wide enough that if you had two people with good balance who trusted each other, you could probably walk shoulder to shoulder two across. But it's probably wiser to do one person at a time.
Is this like some sweet Indiana Jones action we got going on here?
Not dissimilar actually. Yeah, the leap of faith.
Yeah.
Puzzle. Yeah, it's similar to that. Yeah.
Lula May is going to like step gingerly on the purple to see what it does before she puts her full weight on it.
It supports your weight.
So, okay. And if I if I want to understand correctly, sometimes I struggle with this kind of spatial stuff. So we're like up here, and there's like this gap, and Amanda is like embedded into the wall below us.
Yeah, the shield blade or the yo-yo blade is embedded in the wall, and she's holding on to the yo-yo.
Okay, so Lula May is gonna get out, like on the thing, and kind of like, like you said that. So she's up about 10 feet. So there's like a 5 foot. Is there 5 feet from like from us to the shield, or is it like if Amanda were standing on the shield, there'd be 5 feet above her head?
Where Amanda is holding on to the shield is 5 feet from the edge.
Okay. She's
So
gonna
if you're
look
thinking
over.
about like, if you're thinking like a classic tabletop map, it's 1 square away.
Okay.
Allison pulls off her jacket
Yeah.
and like it's a big duster, so she's like got it lengthed out, and lengthed out is about 7 feet. Throws it over the edge, holding on to the other side.
Okay.
Then Amanda would probably just hold on to that and then just try to swing up and then retract the yo-yo as soon as they were far enough away from it to safely retract it.
And Lula May is going to assist with holding on and doing whatever like feat of strength is required to get Amanda up safely.
Okay. Let's do a might check for Lula May and Al.
Oh, good. I'm really good at those. That's like
19.
something I'm super good at. Can you
19.
roll negatively is my question.
If you have a negative in a stat, yeah. 15, yeah.
Oh!
It's a struggle. Lula May, you're definitely feeling like I'm gonna feel this burn later. But yeah, you managed to get Amanda back up onto the floor.
Are you suggesting that I skipped arm day?
No, I'm suggesting
Well,
you did arm day.
Disrespect I get here.
Now, we know not to go down that way. It's a learning experience.
Did you learn not to run ahead of the rest of the group?
Well, I was being the sacrificial person because I'm the unlucky one.
Then we've
So,
learned nothing from this.
Well,
Nothing has
that
been
is-
learned.
Here's the thing. If there was any
No,
traps, I would have
everybody
set
else
them
here
up
already
and
knew
you're
this
safe.
lesson. You're the only person who could have learned it, and you didn't.
I don't know how many times to tell you why we bring the Teds along, but this is why we bring the Teds along.
Secret Journal Ted just looks at us and goes, "Cause we're important and we're serving the glory of the church."
Yes, and you trailblaze with our faith at the front of the group from now on.
Lula May is gonna like fix Secret Journal Ted's hair nobody wants to meet the great sleeveless one if they're not looking their best. And she's like, fixing him up.
So at first he's feeling like pretty great. He's like, yeah, okay, cool. And then you're like, nobody wants to meet the great sleeveless one. He's like, wait, I'm gonna die? What?
No, metaphorically, darling. The great sleeveless one is always in our hearts and in our minds.
Not
right,
in my.
okay.
You want me to roll
cool.
charisma for that one? Because I have like a ton of modifiers.
Sure. roll speech for that one, or charm. I think either would apply for this.
Let me see which. Oh.
24. Okay, yeah. It's feeling a lot better about things.
Cool. So we just like shove him in the way of the spikes and stuff. That's the plan.
No.
How could you do that to Secret Journal, Ted?
That's what you did to yourself.
Yes, and I'm okay with myself doing it because I can get
Okay,
myself
great.
out.
So we can shove you in front of the spikes then.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, good. We have your consent.
And that is the most important.
Amanda is now a Ted.
Now, ladies, your butt.
I am not a Ted.
Reckless.
Oh,
Come on.
Did you want to return your gold TED card?
No, I didn't get one. It was Al that had the gold Ted.
I thought we gave you one.
No.
Yeah.
Well, they all bitched because I found one.
I started promoting people to platinum TED at some point.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
somebody has one,
platinum.
though.
I am for helping the Ted way. I do not partake of the Ted way. Otherwise, I wouldn't
Sure,
have
being
sleeves.
used as a meat shield means you're partaking in the Ted way.
That's
All
why I
right.
have a shield. My shield is my shield.
All right.
All right, I can't help but notice Lula May is standing on air. Or did you put a foot out on air? It looked like.
Oh no, Lula May is like standing now on it because what she was gonna do was lean over and like try and get like help Amanda up without having Amanda have to swing. But then she grabbed onto Al's coat.
Okay. And where is the torch at the moment? It's with
In
Al?
Al's hand.
Okay.
So can we like make a shield so that we maybe our wonderful Ted could be a little safer? Like, is there anything around us that we can make one with?
Amanda
Not
pulls
really.
out one of the chunks of purple they grabbed up the way. Maybe one of these?
Do you
Yeah,
I-
Crystals?
Sure,
No, do you not?
sure. Let's give that to Ted.
Do you not remember the last TED that happened with?
Let's give it to
good
Ted.
point. No. Wesley has said no, and they are the expert here.
No. This TED has not achieved the level of amethyst
You would
aardvark
say
that's
the
required for this.
The Ted spurt.
Okay. Are any of you doing anything with this weird bridge thing aside from standing on it?
No, because we're
Wilson's
waiting
gonna head
for
on after Lula May makes it across.
Yeah, Lula May's gonna get across to the other side that is firm because Lula May does not care for Lula May also doesn't love height.
Okay. I need, as you get about halfway down the bridge, probably about a third of the way actually, I need you to roll nimbleness real quick.
Do you? Do you
I
know?
do. I do.
Ha
24, nice. You go to step, and then you realize that your foot is just, there's nothing there. And you start to lose your balance, but you're able to take a step back just in time.
Okay.
You also might notice that you're at the edge of the torchlight.
Okay. Lula May is gonna like figure this out and realize that there's no purple left. Like there's no more purple glow. She's gonna be like, Al, come up here a little bit. My bridge just needs your light.
All right. That's a weird metaphor, but okay. Al's heading after Little May. On the
Al thinks
bridge.
that Lula May is getting a little randy in her stress. No, so
Waxing poetic.
yes.
As you step onto the bridge, Al, it supports your weight as well. You're able to walk up to Lula May without any issue.
So
Before you
as
go
the
too
torch-
far, sorry, can I try something? I just want to test your witch theory. Can
Not
Wesley
while
put...
we're on the bridge.
Well, I mean, you're not witches.
If you're a witch and
How
you're
about
on
you
a
wait?
bridge
How about
and
you
it,
wait till we get across and then try it?
Because the torch won't be here.
I'll throw it back.
Don't throw the torch.
I'd suggest let them do their thing first, and then you take your turn.
but
Tell you what, Little May, come on, let's get back on that other side, and then we'll let Wesley go across.
So Lula May goes back. Am I correct in assuming that the torchlight is what makes the path happen?
Yes.
Okay, so Lula May stays in the torchlight as she makes her way across.
Okay. So you get to the opposite end, not the starting end, right?
No, are we going back to the starting end with everyone?
Yeah, we're going back to the starting end,
Going
so Wesley
Okay.
can do his weird shit thing.
Okay. So yeah, you're back on solid ground. The torch is as over there where the group is. Wesley, what do you want to do?
I wasn't gonna do anything weird. I was gonna put my hand on the bridge and see even if with the torch there, if it would pass me through. Because maybe witches just fall.
With the torch there, you put your hand on it, and it the bridge almost flickers for a second, and then your hand just pushes right through it.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
It
Okay,
supports
so
your
you're a
weight for
witch.
about 2 seconds, and then glitches, and your hand goes through.
Hey, Secret Journal Ted, can you carry Wesley? I want to see something.
No.
Sure.
No. I'm gonna have to
Okay,
put my foot
pick
down
up
here.
Wesley and
No.
step on the bridge.
He could carry Amanda instead.
I'm okay with that.
We've got
Actually,
two
yeah,
witches.
Amanda, step on the bridge and see what happens.
Amanda does.
As you go to put your foot on the bridge, words are hard. As you step on it, your foot goes straight through. Doesn't even support it for a couple of seconds.
Okay. Secret Journal Ted, pick up Amanda and step on the bridge.
Don't worry, I have yo-yos on standby, Secret Journal Ted.
So Amanda, you're gonna pick up, or Secret Journal Ted's gonna pick up Amanda, and you want him to try to walk across the bridge, right? I'm understanding
Yes.
this correctly.
Yes, with Secret Journal Ted holding Amanda almost bridal style with the
Oh, absolutely
yo-yo on
bridal
the
style.
ready.
Oh yeah. We are going over a
Absolutely.
threshold.
Absolutely bridal style. And
work?
he takes a couple steps out. Seems to work. But then the bridge starts to glitch. And he scrambles as fast as he can back onto solid ground right as the bridge just stops working for him.
Okay. So
he trips.
somebody's carrying you. We got a couple of seconds to book it.
Trips, drops Amanda, and basically they both end up on the floor.
As Amanda gets up, does courtesan, a kiss on Secret Journal Ted's hand.
He blushes.
You don't know where those hands have been.
Right.
You really don't.
As Wesley says that, Lula May just sort of shushes him a little bit because she doesn't want to break the poor girl's heart.
Hey, Lula May, how fast
Yeah?
can you run?
I mean, I was built more for appearances rather than a utility, but I can hold my own.
MJ, how fast can you run?
You're muted there, Nikki.
You just remuted yourself, hon.
Still muted.
Normal, but
Okay,
taller.
that's good.
Normal.
Point of information: do we have to like use this magical bridge, or is there anything preventing us from like finding another way across?
That's a great question, and it probably has a good answer.
Have you seen another way across?
Well, I guess what I'm asking, I don't know if it's above the table, and I know we're kind of running into time. I'm just wondering if maybe we sit and look at like what items we have, if we can maybe come up. I know we've got 2 yo-yos. If we were to stand.
MJ has a multi-tool.
Excuse me. Did they not teach you not to interrupt in robot school?
No,
I didn't go to
cut
school.
that class.
I didn't go to school.
Well, I'm just thinking we have like the yo-yos. If we could find a way to make like some sort of like situation where you could cross the chasm without needing to step on the bridge.
Well, not even just needing to step on the bridge, but we can use if you use the yo-yo thing as a brace, we can have the people carried across quickly enough and have them basically have something to grab
zip
onto
line?
if the bridge goes out.
A zip line?
Sort of. More like a balance line. You use it in camping when fording rivers and stuff.
I do have regular rope that I think would be more useful. Like, it's about 50 feet. Someone could just walk to one end while someone else on the other end has the rope. They walk along it. If it falls underneath, Lula May can just pull them up.
Or,
Yes,
I mean,
because Lula May was doing most of the pulling.
I mean, not to be boring and not dangerous, but couldn't we just use the rope to lower myself and Amanda in? You all who are not witches can walk across the bridge and then lower the rope to pull us back up. Like, we could just walk across the chasm, right? At the bottom. It's not a bottomless pit, is it? Or am I misunderstanding this?
No, it's not bottomless, more that there's a lot of these, and pulls out one for example, a lot of these like purple, sharp stalagmite, amethyst crystal thingies. So if you screw up, you can get stabbed with them. Kind of like how a spike pick might be.
It's basically full spikes, yeah.
Okay, it's full spike. There's not room to move between them.
You could, but yeah, it's like don't roll an @1.
All right.
And Hunters of Calamity 2 ended with Wesley taking the ground to the face.
I'm all for like putting a person on a rope and giving it a good yank.
Yes, and if you have, I can use some life magic to help increase your own muscles, if that will help.
I don't have muscles.
Can you make me taller with the life magic?
No.
I'm not alive.
Can he make you alive?
No.
That would be weird. I'm not
used.
used to having squishy parts. I don't think I want them.
Al, I mostly
Well, you
say
could be
this for
like,
the people that do
not
not
have squishy
the
parts.
aid.
Yeah, but but you're alive and live things have squishy parts.
But you could be a live thing without a squishy part. You could just be
But
you.
all live things have squishy parts.
You could be a horseshoe crab.
They still have squishy parts. They
I
have
think-
squishy parts.
I
Not
think we're
like a
getting
lot. They have
distracted
claws.
from getting across, which I think should be the focus here. And I can use life magic to help, work this on the own muscles you already have.
Okay, great. Make it so Spellbook Ted there can carry your ass across fast enough.
If Secret Journal Ted is okay with it, I can try it.
I mean, I could try. If Wesley specifically asked me to do that for Wesley, sure, but not sure I'm comfortable risking that much for. He sort of like leans over to Wesley and goes, "A non-believer."
Yeah,
That's
I know.
fair.
There's sleeves.
That is
Fuck,
fair
am I just
and
gonna have
valid.
to carry both of you?
Can you
I'm
fly?
good with the rope and everyone just go across.
Okay, you know what? Give me the rope.
How many vault
Ties
hunters
the
does it
rope
take to
around
figure
her
out a way
waist.
across a
Gives
chasm?
the rope to Lula May and the torch to Lula May. Go take the rest of them across. Then
So-
send somebody back with this.
Well, so we have 50 feet of rope.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay. So
It's
what
like
Lula May is
18
going,
feet across.
it's
Oh,
18
okay.
feet across.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Lula May is actually going to double the rope over so that she has so that she's got the middle and the two ends are left with Al.
Yep. And Al's like
Now the
getting them
rope.
got one section tied to herself, and the other section she's tying Amanda and Wesley together.
So so what she's doing is, I don't know if tying them to it is going to really work. So
I
she's
feel
putting-
like this is a bad idea if both me and Wesley do it at the same time. It might be a better idea if one at a time. So there's
Nope,
less
we're
weight.
doing this once.
Well, I'm actually, if you give me just a moment here, I think what we do is then we have like two kind of like handholds. Like we got a handhold and then one that your feet go on and we could kind of shimmy a little bit. And she kind of does like a little like shimmy, like side step thing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna book it.
I mean, you can do what you want, darling, but I'm more concerned about our two, dabblers in the dark arts over here.
You can just say which.
I got them tied good.
Why? That
So it's
idea
easier
seems
to
less
carry you.
dangerous. The carrying sounds like a. Why would we risk a surface that's going to fall apart when we could just have a bridge across that we make?
Lula May, are you ready on the other side yet?
Amanda has been untying themselves the whole time, so only Wesley is tied.
Great. Because Alice is basically gonna grab the bundle of rope and Amanda's getting left behind.
Luke, I mean, okay. There's no reason for Al to do anything other than just walk across.
Okay.
Yes, but if I have Wesley and Amanda attached to the rope, if it gives away and I'm on one side and they're on the other side, it won't completely drag everybody up top under. Instead, we will both hit the walls on opposite sides and keep it balanced in order to get back up.
All right, hold up one second. Just make sure I'm on the same page. Has Lula May gone all the way to the other side now?
Lula May is standing. Lula May and also I see Historian are confused. But no. But she's got the
Okay.
torch, she's got the rope. So what she's imagining is that we're gonna get like two lines of rope across, like one on top of the other. And that people will be able to hold on to one and put their feet on the other and kind of shimmy their way across, and we won't have to have like a pendulum like counterweight action.
Like y'all did in water, to go from the tub to the fridge.
That's what I'm
Yes.
having a hard time visualizing like what
It's doing what you're describing. As in
I'm
one
having a
rope-
very hard time visualizing what Al is talking about in my head.
You have it as then that is one rope that's along the bridge, another set
think-
that is
I think
waist
Alex is drawing
high.
it out.
Okay. I like this. I'm a visual tap gal.
And I believe as you're both on the other side, everyone just pulls.
All right. This is the rope. This is the walkway. Rope is so Lula May has the that side. Al has one of these sides of the rope. Amanda and him have the other side of the rope. So when they're, as basically Al's carrying these two across, if this suddenly gives out, these two will land against the wall, basically swinging in towards the wall, and will be easier to pull up because it's balanced. The weight is balanced evenly on both sides instead of it suddenly getting jerked way too heavily to the other side.
What's supporting the rope?
The rest of the party. Lila May and the rest of the party.
I got a dumb idea that could just make this easier.
Okay, go for it.
Since Amanda's a monk, couldn't they just like wall run up over to where everyone else is?
Yes, technically you can. I will go ahead and say maybe have somebody check out what's on the other side before you do that, though.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down, Fran.
We're stuck on the gazebo, aren't we, Raven?
Yep.
We're stuck on the fucking gazebo.
We are 100% trying to figure out, like, what to eat for dinner while, like, our house is on fire.
Yep.
Lula May's gonna take the torch and, like, hold, not so that the torch is, like, in front of her, but she's gonna hold the torch out so that she can, like, see a little bit ways in front of her, and she's gonna go across the bridge.
Okay. You go across to the other side of the bridge, no problem. You step on the other side. You look around, and give me a sight roll. You're going to notice something regardless, but I want to see if you notice some other things too. I love that everybody's talking about pooling their plot points just to get Wesley and Amanda across.
I love it.
Don't worry, I got a lot pulled just in case.
So I think I rolled a 35.
Okay. Yeet. A 30. Oh yeah, 35. Nice. So you notice everything. So you notice that as you get to the other side, that there also seems to be some weird sort of glowing apparatus on either side of the floor, on the walls, on the other side. And the best that you can figure, because we're running out of time, and you get a nat 20, it's some sort of barrier that would prevent witches from getting through, much like the bridge is ethereal, essentially. To the witches, this would be solid. However, you also notice that there is a button on this side of the bridge, and your best guess is that maybe that turns it off.
Okay. Lula May is going to, utter a quick word asking for forgiveness for her multitude of transgressions in the world. And I imagine, if I may take directorial control, they
Sure.
came from beneath the camera zooms in on Lula May's perfectly manicured, somehow beautiful French tipped nails, except they're in like red and white, zooming in down on this glowing button.
Press the button. There's a little, almost, it's like a fantasy electronic noise as the glowing thing stopped glowing. And the best you can tell is that that barrier has gone down, and then with 2 plot points from Kat, and I'm assuming, Wesley, this is your other 2. We're going to let you pool them this one time.
Feel free to throw those in.
to get you across here. There is a, we'll say that there is a sculpture of a tentacle on one of this stalagmites or stalactites rather. There's one up top. Doesn't matter why it's there. It's just there. There's an earthquake and it falls down and it smacks down on the side where the party is and then falls over. And it's just as luck would have it. It's just long enough that you can walk across that to get to the other side.
Oh, that does it.
Lula May smiles
Yeah,
and she kind of looks up because she had just been like imagining she was about to meet her maker. She kind of looks up and she just like looks around and goes,
I think the test was in patience. We just needed to wait for that to fall the whole time.
That is so meta.
Okay, and we are moving, and we are moving.
Oh,
Wait.
God.
Is the rock real, or does it phase out when you step on it?
Yeah, I need
It's
to
real.
check and make sure that this rock is like actually a rock and not just
Amanda
just,
is moving.
a thing made of occasional light.
There's
All
a
right.
loud boom in the air that you sense the gods are angry and that you should get across this thing as fast as possible.
All right,
Yeah, you get to the other side. The rock tentacle thing is solid. You have 0 issues. The real adventure was the patience we built along the way. Thanks. You get to the other side, and just past where the button is and all that, you see that there's the room kind of opens up into this big amethyst-colored archway made out of that same stone, very smooth stone. There's a whole bunch of writing all over that and the walls, and as you look inside past the archway, you can see it opens up into a room that's not dissimilar from the vault room that you saw, Wesley, where you fought the dragon. But you can tell that it's not quite laid out like a vault. Instead of it being there being like a big doorway where you would be able to get to the treasure and things like that, there's no other doors on the side of the walls. You just see what looks like an altar, and where it looks like there used to be some sort of containment thing. It's kind of the same color glass that you saw the bridge is made out of, and it's supposed to keep something inside. The top has been broken, and you can see one of those dark crystals has grown through it and up into the ceiling, and has broken through the smooth stone ceiling as well. And you're able to tell that this is where all that black crystal came from. And that's where we're going to end the session.
Does anyone have explosives? Because I think I only got one left.
I got bullets.
Oh goodness, this is going to be fun. So I've got a raid cry, which is Amanda has been promoted to a Ted now. We're going to go on a raid here, but before we do, I want to give everybody a chance to talk about their favorite part, where we can find them next, and then we're going to go raid Spyhander if they're still streaming by the time we get done. So yeah, let's start with Michael. What was your favorite part? Where can we find you on the internet, and anything else you'd like to share?
My personal favorite was just us kind of bickering over getting across the bridge, because that just cracked me up. But I was aware at a certain point we just gotta move. But that was a lot of fun, and I love when just stupidity actually gets us to move forward. And I'm Michael Wayne. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch under that handle. Tomorrow, about 1 p.m. Central Time, I will be on Bardic's Not channel for a Digimon tabletop RPG, where I play like Billy Bliss, just more closer to the source material on that. Remember, we're all in this together. I'm pulling for you.
Awesome. We'll pass it on down to IC Historian. Tell us what was your favorite part, where can we find you, and anything else you want to share?
I think my favorite part was figuring out, a little bit more about this world that we're in. I'm not like an expert in Calamity. So that's been really fun for me. I really liked, bidding the Teds that we brought with us a fond, if not like kind of sad farewell. And I love the just what happens with this black crystal. I think that's really fun. You can find me here on Tuesdays. You can find me on Twitter, Raging into the Void. And I believe it's this week on Friday. Well, Friday for me on Polish channel this week. Yes, good. I'm correct. I totally know my own schedule of the two things that I do. So yeah, that's exciting. Good times. I'm having a ton of fun.
Glad. I guess you could say that generic Ted went out with a bang.
He sure did.
With that, we'll toss it on over to Alex. What was your favorite part? Where can we find you? And anything else you'd like to share?
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm a digital artist. You can find me around on Twitter at Agent Boss or over at Can Chaos Art, which is my art Twitter. Well, you'll find artistic creations going up on there and stuff all the time because that is my way of coping with the world right now, is drawing a lot. Yeah, favorite things tonight. Also, it's just like little things, like just watching like the characters like slowly starting to be like reliant on each other for certain things. Like we really felt the fact that Jebediah wasn't there.
Yeah.
Like it was felt that he wasn't there to like add things. I missed his voice. It's been really interesting to watch is like how we rely so heavily on each other to bounce off of too, because we each seem to have different ways of bouncing.
It's true. That's awesome.
Like the fact that MJ lies constantly to Al, and it's not so much that Al buys any of it. Al doesn't care enough to buy or not buy. It's just like, yeah, whatever. You're doing this.
That's good stuff. I agree. Awesome. We'll pass it on up to Pat. What was your favorite part? Where can we find you? And anything else you'd like to share?
Oh, jeez, I don't know. I mean, I definitely agree. Kind of like the little character moments everyone got and kind of meshing together was great. I'm excited that everyone else's characters are now excited about the Black Rocks too, and that it's not just Wesley hoarding them, looking way too intense. Like everyone's like, oh, this shit is cool. and me blowing up that ceiling actually showed us that it was. I'm very excited about, especially seeing Lula May turn these things into weapons for everyone too.
That'll be great.
Yeah, I'm Attactric on Twitter and Twitch. I'll be with Jen this Friday on Cryptid's channel in a Call of Cthulhu game set in 19th century France, right?
Yeah, 1875.
I definitely have a character prepared for and don't need to do that still and know nothing about that time period. That'll be fine.
Pat, do you have a character prepared for tomorrow?
Yes, you'll be excited.
I'm so excited. I'm
Yeah.
so fucking excited.
Also on Fridays on my channel, myself and Leland and Zan have been playing through Divinity Original Sin 2. That's on a little bit of hiatus while I think Zan like maybe mid-flight on his way to America at this time. I'm not sure, but he's got stuff going on. And also there's a hurricane coming towards Leland's area, so I don't know if he'll be online Friday. But if they are not there, I'll play something spooky during the day. So there'll be something.
If you get a chance to watch the three of them, though, it's fucking hilarious. They go full out on like character voices and stuff, and the need for pants.
Yes. Yes. Leland is in charge of all of our resources and uses the money to not buy Zan and me necessary articles of clothing, like boots and shoes. So yeah, those two things, and then. Coming up soon, I'll have more information on. We're going to be doing a Wednesday night campaign on my channel of Lancer, which myself and Alex will both be in. It is very exciting. We are still in character creation mode, so there'll be more information on that coming.
It's awesome. All right. And then last but not least, Nikki, what was your favorite part? Where can we find you? And anything else you'd like to share?
I don't know if I had a favorite part. I just like had a lot of fun. This is like it's a really great night of the week for me.
Awesome.
And I'm on Friday. I will be on this channel playing School Days, a mass game. Is that this week?
Actually, no, we're not having it this week.
Okay.
I had to cancel this week's show, but next Friday, for sure.
Okay. So that's what I have going.
Awesome. My favorite part probably was all the experimenting with the crystals. That was fun trying to figure out. Everybody trying to figure out what it does, and how it works, and all that. It's really cool, and I'm excited for you to figure all that out because you got a few answers, but there's still more to discover about them. It's gonna be cool.
I love how Allison's decided that this is her new lighter.
Yeah. As much as I was, whatever about it, the taking forever to get across the chasm was actually pretty funny.
Fun fact, my friend just messaged me in Discord and was just like, congratulations! In 3 hours, you went down the hallway and crossed the chasm. I was like, cool. Thanks. Thanks for that.
Hey,
It was a
that
nice
is-
roleplay.
It was a proper tabletop game.
Yeah.
Yep.
We spent 84 minutes looking around a room that is a 3 foot by 3 foot square. Sounds
It was pretty. It had stuff on the walls.
Yeah. There has to be times for Overthink
The
Squad.
DM kept asking us, "Are you sure?" And we became very unsure.
yeah.
I
To
like
be
that.
fair, a lot of that was Wesley going like, I'll shoot it at this thing. Are you sure you want to shoot at that thing? Oh my god, that was amazing. So yeah, those are our favorite parts. You can find me next. We don't have Exodus this week. So possibly Friday at noon Mountain Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for Neon Devils. Still waiting to confirm with Yasmin if she'll be available because she's currently traveling right now. If not Friday, then Saturday at 6 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for another Animus Absentus will be the next time. So a little bit light on tabletop shows this week, but I'm also planning on streaming more Phasmophobia off and on all week, so it's so much fun.
Y'all get to see my face way too much this week.
So, yeah, when I do stream that, I will let everybody know on Twitter and Discord. So follow me on Twitter, it's right below my face, and then our Discord, which is open to everyone, can be found right there in chat. So, we're gonna head on over to Zweihander and say hello. They're currently streaming the brand new Flames of Freedom, which is currently available for Kickstarter. Do it through kickstarting. It's a really cool game. I got to play test it a little bit. It's a lot of fun, and the folks over there are pretty great. So go say hello. Say hello, do the raid cry, give them a follow, and definitely check out that game as well.
Also, check out
Yes.
fabulous Hoffy shirts.
Oh yeah, I should talk about that.
Pretty great. Check it out. It's a nice shirt.
If you go to my Etsy store, which is etsy.com/shops/The Raven Evermore, I believe is how that's laid out. There are shirts and magnets for Hoffy, which is a brand that's been established in this world, and there will be Ted brand canned meat shirts and things available.
I'm working on a logo for Lula May's Lemonade.
It's fantastic. You can
'Cause
also check
I
out.
want to draw something obnoxiously bright.
Awesome. You can also check out art and things like that from this game and others on Patreon. including the art that's on the magnet and the shirt, as well as the Ted brand canned meat little advert thing that's going to go up there as well. Yeah, thank you everybody. Thank you so much for the donations, spot points, hanging out and chatting and all that. We're going to go raid Zweihander, so I will see you all later. Bye everybody.